In this video, we're going to examine the Google Cardboard camera rig in a bit more detail. Let me just set this to maximize on play. I'm going to mute the audio and I'm just going to run the game. And I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option key and I'm just going to look around. And you'll notice we're getting clipping here. You see I'm seeing through the roof of the car outside to the buildings. So typically this is all you'll need to adjust on the camera, which is the near clip plane. So if we come back into our car, we jump into cardboard main, the head, and we find the main camera. You see this near clip plane? Just change this to something more like 0.1. And now let me run the game again. And again, I'm going to hold down the Alt key to simulate head tracking. And as you can see now, I'm seeing the roof of the interior and the rest of the interior in my kind of disembodied state, and I'm still able to track that. Now, what about a humanoid? Let's create an instance of a third-person character. Come here to Standard Assets, Characters, Third-Person Controller, Prefabs, and just grab this third person. I'm temporarily going to just toss this inside the car and position it within the car to 0, 0, 0 so that it's basically standing right here in the car. I'm going to zoom out a bit and then I'm going to move this guy back out of the car. Don't really want him in there. That was just a convenient way to get him to the right spot. And now I'll move him over to this side of the car. And let's take a look. Frame. And just rotate around a bit to make sure that he's in a good spot. It's not going to fall through the ground when I run the game. No, that looks pretty good. Since I'm going to be moving the camera rig back and forth between the car and the person, I'm going to create a couple of empty game objects with the correct positions for both. So if we just take a look where we have our camera rig here, I'm going to create an empty game object and I'm going to call it cardboard position. And I'm just going to drop that inside our combined car. And I'm going to grab the position of the transform from here just by copying this component. And I'm going to paste those values here. And then if I drag cardboard main inside that cardboard position, everything should still be fine. And you'll notice here it's at 0, 0, 0 relative to its parent, which is what I want. And now for my humanoid, I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to come to about where the glasses are. So I'm going to create another empty game object. And again, I'm going to call it cardboard position. And I'm going to toss this inside the humanoid. And I'm going to grab position of the glasses. Let's move it to about 1.4. That's about how tall our character is, so 1.4 meters. And I'm going to position it just a little bit in front of the character, 0.2 meters. So if we just look at it here, that's where it is. You might want to adjust it, but as you can see, it's lined up pretty good. And now let's grab this cardboard main and throw it inside this position and then position it to 0, 0, 0 relative to that so that we're basically inside the humanoid and positioned about where the eyes are. Now let's run the game. And once again, when the game is running, we're going to track the eye movement. I'm just going to look down and you see I can see my shadow and I can see the humanoid's body. I'm still getting a bit of clipping here because my head is pretty close to my shoulders. So let's come back to the main camera and try setting this to 0.05 for our near clip and run the game again. And once again, tracking, looking down, shadow, shoulders. So that's a bit better. Now we're not disembodied anymore. We actually have a body, which I like better. I've seen a lot of VR games with this disembodied character riding in a roller coaster and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit better if there's a body. Also for the car, obviously you'd want to have a seated humanoid in the car and then position the camera rig so that you could actually see your arms on the steering wheel and things like that. But as I said, typically all you're going to need to do is adjust the position and the near clip plane for the camera rig and you'll be good to go.